You should. Oh yeah. No. It's cool, man. It's cool. So how you doing today, Abe?
I am. That is how I'm doing. I'm not doing so well at all.
It's been a crazy week. A lot of stuff happened.
Yeah. No, for me it was. I just had a terrible week, and then yesterday was just like the worst for me.
What happened?
Well, for the whole week, like I've been having like these weird dreams. The last weird dream I had was that I was 25 years old and on my deathbed.
Oh shit!
Like,
well, that's
like I knew I was gonna.
That's
die.
interesting.
Yeah, like the whole day, like it's my last day. What do you do? And like in my dream, my last day, I spent it. I don't even remember what I spent doing. I just know that the very end of the dream was like I was hanging out with my brother. We were in my room. Like usually we're just playing video games and just talking. Mm-hmm. And it felt like the weirdest like part of a movie because like it was sad, but at the same time I was like, no, let's not make it super sad because like we were talking and then we were laughing, we were having fun, and then like I don't know where like the laughs just stopped and everything went silent, and he asked me, "Are you scared?" And I'm just like, I'm terrified, and like things just kind of happened like from that, and he was like scared that like he knows I'm gonna die and I know I'm gonna die. But then at the same time, I'm like, I'm not dead yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm still alive. Let's be happy until I'm dead,
True.
And then at the very end, like, I went from, like, being, like, feeling okay to, like, feeling really, really weak and, like, not being able to move. Like, enough to where, like, he had to help me to get into bed.
Man, I've had dreams like that where I felt that I was, like, about to die or dying, and those are really weird dreams. So.
Yeah, no. And then after I died, I didn't even wake up. You know how that's supposed to happen?
Yeah?
I didn't. Like, after I died, everything just went black.
Shit. But then you did wake up because
in the morning.
Here.
I woke up in the morning, but, like, in the dream, like...
There was no waking up in the dream. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and it was just, like, scary as hell because, like, in the dream, like, during the time that I knew I was going to die, like, my brother said goodnight, and, like, neither one of us wanted to, like, go to sleep because we knew that as soon as sleep happened,
Wait, in the dream?
Yeah, in the dream.
Oh, okay.
Because like it was one of those things where like the doctor's like, "This is your last day, and then you're gonna die in your sleep," and it was like, okay,
okay, that's cool.
The last thing I remember, the last thing I did, like in my waking life, apparently, was that I looked at my phone and I set it up to like play music as I'm falling asleep, and so that is the last thing I heard. And then everything just went pitch black, and I couldn't hear anything until the morning when I woke up.
I think that still conforms with the idea that a lot of people have of death.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, even if someone is to figure out what happens after death, our brain isn't, like, equipped to, like, handle that. It can't you can't wrap your head around death. So even if someone explains to you step by step,
even people that claim to have seen something, because they were clinically dead for a while and came back, the fact that they came back just proves that they're not dead. I mean, you could lose, your organs may stop functioning for a while, and in some cases they can be brought back. Your heart definitely, in some cases, but I mean, nobody's ever actually been dead. That is, dead for a long ass time and come back, and that's the only way to really know. But there's nothing to know.
There was that one case a while ago where a baby was born.
Oh dead. Yeah, he was in his. Where the baby came back to life at his funeral.
At his funeral, yeah.
I saw that. It was in Brazil, I think, somewhere in South America.
Yeah, well, that was like days later, wasn't it? Like his funeral.
I think it was just the next day.
Well, there you go. The baby was dead for a whole day.
Dead baby. That's right, folks. A show about dead babies.
I had a joke and then it just left my brain.
Well, maybe it was the dead babies comment that did it.
No, it was a joke on the dead babies. It's like, now with blank, like like in those weird infomercials. Order now and you get this.
Well, why don't we talk about something that I know you know a thing or two about?
Dead babies?
No, you know about dead babies. No. Okay, this is getting a little too dark for such an early hour in the morning.
I also did say that yesterday was a rough day for me too, so let's move on to that one.
Yeah, no, but I know that you're really excited about this new phone that Google is creating.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a new kind of phone. I understand. It's not your regular. It's not just a new smartphone.
Yeah, no, like I think they already have like models out, and they've distributed them to. I can't remember if it was somewhere in South America or like if it was Puerto Rico.
But what's the thing with the phone? Why is it special?
Well, like the phone, it's basically you can take it apart. It's like Legos for phones.
Uh-huh.
If you want like a better camera, you can take the camera off and then like give it a bigger one. If you want more memory, you take like I guess the speaker off and like add another memory card.
So it's modular.
Yeah, basically. But I mean, I didn't know what modular was until like
right. No, but that's what it is. It's when you have something that has interchangeable parts that you can customize it with.
Yeah, so, and this phone has been a work in progress for I think like 4 years now. Because like the first time I heard of it was 4 years ago, but it might be a little bit more than that since the guy drew it up. But now it looks like it's going to be released sometime in the fall. Yeah, that's what it says on the website. Some developer edition shipping fall 2016.
Oh, well, it's going to be available for developers. That means that people that are going to be creating apps for it are going to have access to it.
We're getting really close to this phone being a public thing. And I think for me, when this phone does become a public thing, I think I will be trying my best to get one of these.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks really cool. This sounds like it has more potential than the whole Google Glass thing, because I think that never took off. I mean, the idea of it was kind of cool, but I don't think it was as practical as a lot of people expected it to be.
Yeah, no. I never really saw what kind of practical use Google Glass
It just seemed like a really cool thing without much substance, But this phone, I mean, first of all, it's a phone, so people can wrap their minds around that a little easier because everybody has the experience of owning a smartphone. But, imagine saying to yourself, I would rather have more memory than a really good camera. I think I'm good with a decent camera, not a professional camera.
Yeah.
So I'm going to switch this out so that I have more hard disk space or flash memory, whatever. Yeah. And I'll compromise by just having, a camera that doesn't take up that much space. Or I don't know if it sounds like that's the kind of things you can do with it,
Yeah, I think that's basically what
or you could say I want more speakers, or I want a mic on it, or it's
longer
better.
lasting memory.
Yeah.
Basically, it's
battery.
I think it's like the next step up from Android's ability to personalize your phone.
Right.
Because this one, if you are like more of a music type of person. You can get chips that fit your lifestyle and remove the ones that you don't really need.
Right.
If you don't really need that much, if you don't take that many pictures, you can get rid of your camera.
Wait, but what is this phone called? I mean, Google Glass was a thing, but what is this?
Well, this specific one is the Aura, but
Aura like ARA.
Yeah, ARA.
Okay,
you've got the thing of it too. But there were other ideas for it. Like this one being Google, there was also an idea for it being Motorola, and that one had a different name.
Well,
and a different design too.
Yeah, I think things kind of got muddled up in there because I remember this being a Kickstarter 4 years ago, and I know also Google at one point had purchased Motorola, and then they sold it back, but obviously they still work with them in some capacity, but yeah, I know that it started as a Kickstarter, and if this is something that Google is working on, I think it has tremendous potential. What I was telling you earlier, before I knew that, if this was to have like another operating system somehow, or not compatible with Android, I think it would have been dead in the water. But
it would, yeah, because if we compare for the ones that we have now, if you compare Apple to Android to Windows, which are the top, which are the leading ones right now.
And only two of which are of any interest to most people.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a while people didn't really realize that Windows actually made phones.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I still think it doesn't have as many apps as I like.
Windows?
Yeah, I mean, it has more than before, but I think a lot of crappy bootleg apps. Are on the Windows Store compared to the Android and iOS app stores. But now that's not to say, I mean, there's still tons of crappy
apps for the other two.
bootleg apps on Android more than Apple for sure. But I still think that's a bigger problem for Windows because it has a lot of legitimate looking apps that are not legitimate. That's the problem.
So, what are you, an Apple man or an Android man?
I'm a both man. I'm platform agnostic. I have an iOS phone and I have an Android tablet because I want to have access to both. I have no interest in Apple. I mean, in Windows phones. No interest in Windows phones.
I'm more of an Android guy.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, it goes back to the same thing that I was saying, the personalization of the phone. Because, like, an iPhone, the only way you can like personalize it, like really, really,
just through illicit means. You can't. Apple won't let you customize to the extent that Android will. That's for sure.
Yeah, and if you don't know how to work that those background stuff, there's a good chance you could brick your iPhone.
Yeah,
it's way easier to brick an iPhone than it is to brick an Android phone.
Right.
As I've noticed, because I've tried to brick those two, and I've only.
You mean you've tried to root them, but have accidentally bricked them?
No, I mean like I've like legit.
Oh, you've tried to brick them just to see what it takes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For iPhone, it doesn't take that much. Like you could be a child and brick it.
Shit.
But for an Android phone, I still have yet to brick it, and I've tried every means.
Wow.
Because like I keep every time I upgrade to a new phone, I keep my old phone.
Right.
And then with that old phone, I do everything I can to like try to like mess with it, see, things you wouldn't normally do with your phone that you try to keep on you every day so that you don't die.
Right.
But I haven't bricked any Android phones yet.
Yeah. Well, I think that this Aura phone is kind of the next step in that customization.
Yeah.
That Google is trying to bring to all the users of its devices and apps and what have you. Because, first, we've always had this ability to customize the operating system, and now we're able to customize the phone itself with this. So I think it's a really cool concept. It looks like, so it's like the way this phone looks, it looks like it has these different slots. It's got like one slot and this is like the back of the phone, as far as I can tell. It's got the camera in the upper right. It's like this little rectangle. I mean, they all look like you can remove them.
Yeah, you can.
They look like Lego pieces. In fact, it almost looks like a phone that's made out of Legos.
Yeah, and like it's not necessarily like fit to just looking like that, like the singular way.
Yeah, I could if I wanted to. I guess I could remove the camera module and I can put in another speaker module in its place.
Yeah,
that's the same size.
But what I was gonna say was that like say you have the camera at the top left and you have like a speaker at the right.
I could switch the places.
You could switch them and have the camera in the middle of the phone instead of having the camera at the top.
Right. Exactly, but you could move them around now.
Yeah,
but there's some things are a set size. Like it has like this little LCD screen in the picture that I'm looking at, and it's got like a picture of like the weather forecast.
Yeah, and like the thing,
that's a square shape, and the camera is like a rectangle shape.
Yeah, and like the thing with these is like they're all like little I guess like the little chips that you can connect. Because the thing isn't set. Like you on the website, you could actually see how they have different sets of phones, colors and stuff, sets of chips, and you can see how they can get moved around and how they can get placed in separate places.
So instead of having like two rectangular modules here, I could have one square module.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's basically one of
those. No, you're right. There it is up there. Like there was two up here in the picture. We're looking at this picture with like a banner.
Yeah, it's on the Google.com/Aura website, where it's like just basically talking about the phone. And it basically, if you can make the chip, then it's a possibility. You can have like night vision camera.
Wow.
If you can make it, it can be placed on the phone, because like right under all those little chips, they've got like just like the sensors. These connections,
right? They look like the slots that you plug your RAM into, only shorter.
Yeah, and it basically just like as long as you can make those things fit, the possibilities and the combinations are endless. So it's mainly just like, up to your imagination and what you want out of the
Wait,
phone.
so, I'm guessing, maybe you already know this, but I don't know for a fact, but I'm guessing that this is something to where, just like there's app developers, now there's going to be developers of these hardware modules.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be people, different companies can decide to make a better camera for it.
Yeah.
And so you can snap it on.
Yeah, and that's basically what's going to be happening. And even like third-party organizations can make their own chips for this. And if you want to buy them, you don't have to like trade in the chips you already have.
Right.
Like if you want to like get a bigger camera that takes up more than one slot, you can. But then if one day you want to replace the camera for something else, you can go back to like your regular single slot camera or no camera at all and just replace everything and add more speakers, more memory, more battery life, more whatever you want. It's basically just like if you can find the chip to fit your lifestyle, like the weather chip, compass chip, speaker, stuff like that. I think in the commercial they even have like a compartment for having like Tic Tacs. It was
Tic Tacs, yeah. They have like a little promo, like a little commercial for it, and there was this like guy on a date, and it looked like he took out a Tic Tac, and then he held his girlfriend's hand, and so it's
so it's basically one of those things where like if you can imagine it and create it, then it's a possibility. But
that seems like a waste.
A waste of what?
It's like an advanced graphics chip Tic Tac compartment.
I'll take the Tic Tacs.
Okay, I guess it depends on whatever's more important to you.
Well, I mean, that's not the newest technology that's going on right now, is it?
Well, I mean, it's as far as phones, yes, but there's some other stuff going on in the video game space, of course. As you know, I'm a big fan of Nintendo.
Yeah, way more than I am.
Yeah, no, I've been with Nintendo since the Nintendo Entertainment System back in the mid-'80s, and I've had every single console since.
Nice.
And so right now, I'm really excited about their new system in development that's called the NX. It's the code name. Who knows what it's really going to be called? Just like the Wii back in the day was called the Revolution.
Was it?
Yeah, that was the code name. That's why a lot of people complained when the Wii came out because of the name. They thought it was ridiculous.
Going from something called the
Revolution
to the Wii.
Yeah, and before that, the GameCube was called the Dolphin. When it was in development?
That doesn't sound interesting at all.
Well, but that's what it was called in development. And then the N64, that was just Project Reality. And they've, I don't know what the Super Nintendo was or the Nintendo, but the video game industry back then was not what it is today. It's very different. Right now, of course, a lot of people already are aware that the Wii U kind of tanked. In face of the PS4 and the Xbox One. I mean, it's just, kind of like an extremely budget third option that not a lot of people are interested in. And you can't even port the big multi-platform games that come out on PS4 and Xbox One to the Wii U.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's a great console because I love playing Nintendo games. So if you're into like the first party games, I mean, they're as great as ever. And there's a lot of great remakes. I recently got Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, and I'm playing through Wind Waker HD also. So if you're into like the classic Nintendo games, they're on there and they're great. The Nintendo Super Mario 3D World. It's a great multiplayer Mario game. Anyway, the point is that there's great games on it.
Yeah.
But Nintendo knows it tanked. The sales numbers are not where they need to be. And the NX, the concept that they're hinting at, that they haven't spelled out very clearly, so a lot of this is just speculation. But a lot of the games publications are saying that it seems to be a system that is both a handheld and a home console. I don't know if that means that it's a console that you plug into your TV, but that you can also unplug and then take with you on the road, or if it's going to be two systems that have the same operating system and where you could play the same games on either one.
Yeah.
We don't know what it means yet, but they're hinting at doing something along those lines. We don't know what it is. But again, all this is speculation. Nintendo has been talking about this for a while, and unfortunately, they're not going to show it at this year's E3. That's I think it starts this weekend.
The E3?
I think so. If not, it's next weekend. But it's definitely not this week though. Today's Sunday, so it's sometime this week if it hasn't started already. But it's not going to be there. I think they're just going to announce Zelda and a few other games. Yeah. The new Zelda, of course, being the big open world game that everybody has been clamoring for. You know, it's supposed to be like Skyrim, kind of, as far as its openness.
Yeah.
But in a Zelda world, in Hyrule.
I would totally play that.
I would totally play that too. But
well, like as you were talking about the Nintendo stuff, you at the beginning of this, you did say that the video game industry isn't what it was. Something like that?
Yeah, it's just like a bigger thing. Like it's more interesting now, you know, because I don't know if part of this is just because back then I was a kid and, you know, I wasn't maybe buying all the video game publications. I mean, I did start reading them fairly early on, but I mean, it's not something I was entirely aware of as, you know, 8-year-old me. You know, I just didn't know about that stuff. But now, you know, I think since like the mid 90s, it started really exploding, you know, because that's when, you know, the PlayStation 1 came out. Yeah. You know, just the PlayStation back in the day. And all the video game magazines were talking about this. And then the new Sega system, the Sega Saturn. And there was all this buzz around the industry. Yeah. Just everybody would talk about the new systems at school. There was like kids who were like, oh yeah, well we're Nintendo kids and those are the Sega kids that, you know, they just play on their Sega Genesis. And, and well, we play Super Nintendo and it was actually cooler to like Sega Genesis because it was like the big kid system. It had like the edgier games, but nobody could deny that. At least at that time, the Super Nintendo was the more powerful of the two systems. And it had, you could arguably say that it won that video game generation. Yeah. But from then on out, like, you know, Nintendo started just skewing more towards family friendly because at that point, all systems were sort of like all things to all men sort of thing. Even the Sega Genesis, which was the edgier system, still had a lot of games that were great for kids. But then after that, you know, you just sort of had your big kid systems and the systems for, you know, just kids, as it were. But
you're really passionate about these things.
Yeah, no, it's my thing, man. I've been reading about this stuff since I was a kid, so it's important.
I think you're bigger on video games than I am, aren't you?
Oh no, I'm a big video game person. Yeah, I play video games with my son. I got him into video games. He's like a big Pokemon player now. I mean, he's beaten Pokemon games faster than I ever could.
Well, I mean,
so I'm proud of that. Like that's like it brings a tear to my eye.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like for Pokemon is like, I guess I put it on the same kind of like it's the same way I handled Yu-Gi-Oh. Because like now that they're expanding to like newer generations, I think they're just getting kind of dumb.
You know, I can see an element to that. But since I saw it in its I saw the franchise when it was taking its baby steps, you know, it still kind of holds a place near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying that I don't like Pokemon. Like I love Pokemon, but I mean, everything past like the Hoenn region. Yeah, I don't like it. It just got really dumb after that.
Well, the gameplay is still there. The gameplay I think is as great as ever. Yeah, you know, the battles are really really awesome. I don't know. It's just I love the game because it has great strategy. They're great, you know, strategy. Well, they're not strategy RPGs. That's a different genre. But you have to be strategic in those battles. But anyway, we're veering off topic a little bit here. But what I did want to say is that as far as the new system that Nintendo is getting out, apparently it's coming out in March. They have confirmed that much. Next March 2017. Oh, okay. And again, I read this on IGN and Kotaku and, you know, those big video game websites and publications. But they basically it's going to be like a 2-part release. There's going to be like a release like first it's the home console and then it's the handheld. I might be wrong on that. Maybe it's the other way around. But first they're releasing like the home component and then it's the handheld or vice versa. But
But either way, it's getting released along.
Yeah, we're gonna see that. I mean, they're promising that. I can still see them, having to change the release date because they always do that.
Yeah.
But that's their current release window. And the last thing I needed to mention is just the fact that the new Zelda game, the new open world Zelda game that had been announced for Wii U, it's gonna be on both Wii U and the NX, just like they did with Twilight Princess. Okay. That was on GameCube and Wii. So
yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So since you're super big on video games, how do you feel about the Warcraft movie? Since it is, I think, is it the first video game movie that's being made, or is it like the first one that's picked up this much steam?
It's a genre, I think. It has so video game movies are always B movies, essentially. Yeah. They always kind of suck a little bit.
Yeah, because I haven't seen one that was actually like super good.
No, I think the best video game movie out there that I've seen is probably the first Mortal Kombat movie, which came out in 1995.
Yeah, that one was okay.
That one was the most decent video game movie where they tried to stick to the source material and follow a semi-interesting plot. I mean, it's a good time, you feel good about that movie ticket. You don't feel like you were gypped. Unlike
the second one.
Oh my God. When I watched that movie the whole time, I'm thinking, dude, when they wrote this plot, they must have been high, just a bunch of like dude bros sitting around like, dude, then after Katana sees her mom, she's gonna like turn evil and like try to kill her. Dude, that's awesome, bro. Cause that happens in the movie. Like she tries to like bring her mom back to life. Yeah. And instead of saying thank you, she like just tries to kill her. Yeah. It's like, it makes no sense. It's stupid.
Wait, Katana's mom?
Yeah. So, Sindel. Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, I mean, isn't it like in the game, Sindel gets brought back
by Shao Kahn?
I think it was by Quan Chi.
Well, I think
Shao Kahn orders Quan Chi,
something like that. Quan Chi is not like a big character at that point in the storyline because that's like this is when Mortal Kombat 3 came out.
Where does Sindel like make her appearance?
Mortal Kombat 3.
3?
Yeah.
Because
Quan Chi doesn't really show up till Mortal Kombat 4. Now, as a playable character, I think he might be mentioned in the lore in Mortal Kombat 3.
Yeah, because in 9 they showed Sindel getting killed, and then Shao Kahn giving Quan Chi the order to go and bring her back.
Right.
And then when she gets brought back, she's just a slave.
And that could be true. I can't remember exactly, but I do know that she's supposedly brought back. But the point is that the movies they did change a bunch of things, obviously, but the way they try to work in the whole Sindel thing is just ridiculous, and everything is ridiculous about that movie. I mean, it's not worth even focusing on that. That was just a particularly silly scene in the movie.
Yeah.
But
I think a lot of the parts that hold on, I'm gonna start over.
Okay.
I think a lot of the part that made I went back to the same thing. A lot.
Take your time. You can do it. You can do it.
I'm having a stroke. Hold on. I think the main reason I didn't like the movie, like at the beginning, was the fact that Johnny Cage gets killed off.
Yeah, and they only did that because they couldn't get him to Lyndon Ashby, the actor who played Johnny Cage in the first one. They couldn't get him back, and since he was such a big character, they didn't want to replace him. So they just had I think he was like an extra, honestly, just an extra to show up on screen for like 2 minutes or less. And just try to fight. I can't even remember what he attacks. If it's Shang Tsung or Shao Kahn. Tries to attack him, gets killed in like less than 5 minutes. And that's it. Yeah. I mean, it's just a guy that vaguely looks like Lyndon Ashby, and he's got the sunglasses on and the hair, so you can't really tell.
Yeah, all you know is that his neck got cracked.
Yeah. So, then, super retarded.
Yeah, and then after that...
Sorry, that was the R word, folks. That's my bad. But anyway, that movie was horrible. That movie was horrible.
Well, what do you think about Warcraft? Because for me, I've never played World of Warcraft, but the movie seems semi-interesting to me. Especially the thing that surprised me was that my dad, he was never big on video games. Like nothing apart from like the Super Nintendo.
Right.
But he's like
or like fighting games and stuff. I think.
Yeah, fighting games. He liked those, but Warcraft, when he saw the trailers for this movie, he was instantly hooked.
Yeah, well, the trailers do look cool.
Yeah, but I mean, like, for me, it was like one of those things, like, when I saw the trailers, it was like, it's iffy.
I don't think it's going to win any Oscars, but as far as video game movies go, now I haven't seen it yet. I'm not too huge on Warcraft. I mean, I've watched some of my friends play it, because I do have friends that are big on it. Mm-hmm. But I think it has the potential to be one of the better ones, to at least be in that category that Mortal Kombat is in. But
I think this one's going to be bigger than the first Mortal Kombat.
I think so. No, I think so. Because these kinds of games are really big right now. Just MMORPGs.
It's already got a 7.9 out of 10 rating on IMDb. So
that's pretty good for a video game movie.
Yeah, and it's got 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
which is not great, but I mean, I would expect as much from a video game movie. But the thing is, I think that they are doing a half decent effort with the plot from what I've read as far as other reviews. Some people, I've heard very mixed reviews, like some people that have reviewed it, even some video game publications. Mm-hmm. There's been some that have trashed it, and then there's others that have really praised it. So I think it's going to be a decent movie, though. I mean, I think it's worth the watch, and there is the concept of Minecraft. I'm sorry, Minecraft. Warcraft, World of Warcraft.
Wrong game.
I know. But the point is, I know my video games people.
Who made Warcraft? You know, the World of Warcraft.
Blizzard.
You just insulted Blizzard.
No,
chill out.
Come on. To be confused with Minecraft is praise, I think. Because that is another awesome game. But that's beside the point. What I was going to say is that I think that there is an interesting concept in World of Warcraft because it kind of involves a lot of the issues that we're dealing with as a society now, because it involves having, a new race of people come into your world and as refugees apparently, but at the same time, the inhabitants of the world, the initial inhabitants, are prejudiced towards them, and then there's war. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if that doesn't speak to present day issues, then I mean, I don't know what does. But I mean, I think it's very relevant. That's always what it's been about, because I think you choose. It's like the Horde, which is like the
bad guys.
Well, they're not bad. You see, that's the point. They're not really bad guys. They're misrepresented. Exactly. I mean, they're just like these ogre looking.
Yeah, and just
people.
It's one of those things where and
then there's other races. It's not just them, I believe. But
I mean, I think in the movie it's just.
And then there's like the humans, which I don't know what they call themselves though in the games, but
I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not too big on I don't know anything about WoW.
Yeah. So. Well, I mean, I know that much about it. I like you, I'm not that big on it, but I think I'm really interested in this movie, and I think that it has the potential to bring a lot of people into the franchise, which obviously that's one of the things they're thinking, because I do know that Warcraft has been losing lots of subscribers. Mm-hmm. It's still the biggest MMORPG out there, but it's also been bleeding subscribers like crazy.
Yeah, I think. Well, whether or not the video game franchise survives, I think the movie itself will be like some kind of stepping stone,
right,
for future video game movies.
Yeah.
If this one does,
right.
So far, it looks like it's doing better than every other video.
We'll probably have some. I mean, I'm going to try to watch it this week. Actually, I intend to go see it, and then maybe we could, talk about the movie itself next time. But
yeah, maybe.
But right now, I'm hopeful. I want to see it and just see what happens. But yeah, video game movies they are generally crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember back in the day they made the movie about Super Mario Brothers.
Oh no!
Did you see that movie?
I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw it, I must have been maybe 10 years old when I saw it. I don't know, something like that. And I remember thinking it was okay. For 10-year-old me, it was a good time.
Yeah.
But then I saw it when I was older, and then it was like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
This is total shit.
This is crap. I mean, and I think that is also part of the reason that Nintendo has never really wanted to license its characters and properties to, studios or that make either movies or cartoon series. Because there was also a Mario Brothers cartoon, which was, I think, as far as cartoons go, it was decent.
Yeah, I like the cartoon better.
I think, it was still not a great cartoon, but I think it was adorably hokey and cheesy in a way.
Yeah.
That 80s and 90s cartoons were. But anyway, speaking of things that suck.
What did we...
I don't know.
I was just going to say that not everything is fun and games.
No.
As much as we would love the world to be, safe and just people talking about things that they like, there are assholes out there.
Yep.
One of the bigger ones being Brock Turner.
Oh, man. What a piece of crap of a human being, if you could even call him that. I mean,
yeah, no, he.
So this is that kid from Stanford who raped just a drunk girl at his fraternity
behind
party.
A dumpster.
Yeah, he took her behind a dumpster.
She was unconscious, so like.
And he was like,
she probably passed out back there. And
yeah,
then this guy comes up, rapes her, and then the only reason he was ever caught was because there were two
passersby. I think one of them was like a Swede, or I don't know if they were both Swedish exchange students.
I don't know who they were.
It was so bad though. I heard that one of them actually cried when he was giving his testimony to the police because what he was doing to her behind the dumpster was apparently just super disgusting. As if rape was not disgusting enough, like just what he was doing in particular, which I don't know the details of. I don't think I want to know them, but it was so disturbing that this kid was just crying as he was having. Yeah, that's the thing that happened.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it was so bad. I think he was like, without going into too much detail, I think he was like, penetrating with a foreign object, or I don't know. But it's messed up. This is one sicko that definitely needed to be taken off the streets for longer than he was.
Yeah. Well, like according to CNN, when they found the victim, she was in the fetal position behind the dumpster. Mm-hmm. She was breathing but not responsive. So yeah, pretty much, not in a good state. Her dress was pulled up to her waist. Her underwear was on the ground. Her hair disheveled, and covered with pine needles. So,
shit.
I don't. If this wasn't like in an alleyway, she might have been moved. But I don't, because I don't really know too much of the details about where this dumpster was. But either way, this is just I feel like he may have moved her.
Well, he must have just brought her out there from the party. I don't know the details behind that, but the point is that this guy did something despicable, and this is what when people talk about the problem with white privilege, I think this is definitely it. Yeah, because here's a kid, he was like a star swimmer, apparently not
Stanford.
Yeah, for Stanford. People were talking Olympics with this kid. Mm-hmm. And apparently, those I guess that part of his history gave him enough merit to deserve a more lenient sentence. By the judge.
That was just shit. But what was the thing that his dad said that?
He was saying that
since he never had a criminal record or any kind of sort of bad history, that he should just be let go.
Yeah. He only raped once, so we should go easy on him.
20 minutes of action. And stuff that part. It stuck with me because that part, the 20 minutes of action thing, was just total bullcrap. Why are you gonna say something about 20 minutes of action and cost him his whole life? It should cost him more, mainly because she had no way to say anything. It's obvious that she was unconscious.
The one thing that I hate is that in that open letter or the letter to the judge, I think, mm-hmm. that the father wrote, he talks about this as being problems with underage drinking and sexual promiscuity. I think they were both over 21, so it's not underage drinking. But the point is that it's not illegal to get flat out drunk. It is illegal to rape. Yeah. So. Give me a break. It's not. It's just because. Okay, you could argue that they shouldn't have, had that much to drink, but that's still no excuse to rape a person.
Yeah.
It's just really messed up, and that's what I hate. They just refer to this as sexual promiscuity. That's not the same as rape. And they're just being very obviously they're saying it to protect their son's ass, but
yeah. And the thing with this guy, he's gonna get what's coming to him, right? But I feel like the judge should have done more because according to the CNN website, how the victim was completely unresponsive. The paramedics tried the shake and shout technique, which is like, they shake you, they're yelling, trying to get your attention, and then they also like apply some like pain to like see if you react to it. Usually it would be like the collarbone, they rub it with a knuckle or something. Hard enough, because like that part is something that you learn in first aid to see if somebody is like, conscious or like at least alive. But there was no response with her, and she vomited once but did not wake up. And then they kept trying to wake her up later in the ambulance. She wouldn't move. She wasn't doing anything. She was breathing, which was a good sign, but not waking up. And then eventually they had to stick an IV needle into her to like, make sure that she was going to get her fluids with her throwing up and stuff. And that's just like, the beginning of it. After that, there's obviously going to be like some psychological, damage done, and that's something that doesn't really ever go away. And Brock Turner got to walk after this. Yeah. And to be specific, I mean, he's getting 6 months in jail and then house arrest or probation, something like that. I think it's probation. But it's just 6 months in jail, basically. I mean, this is a crime that people could potentially get 15 years for. I think that's the maximum allowable. And he's just getting out in 6 months so as to not ruin the rest of his life and his career, essentially, which is basically what he did to this girl. I mean, he ruined her life because she's going to have to, carry this with her for the rest of her life, basically. Yeah, and, people are assholes. This guy being pretty much at the top. But the judge comes like right behind this kid because the judge didn't do anything more than he could have. Like, maximum is 15 years and he only gave this kid like a couple months. Yeah, I think aside from Brock Turner, it's just the judge and the kid's father, maybe both his parents, they're all kind of enablers for this, I think, because they're more concerned about this kid's, the state of mind of this kid and his future than that of the victim, who was more deeply affected. Yeah, and the good thing is that the word is being spread about this kid. Like, I think the last thing I saw about him, like promoting how he is a rapist, is I think it was in the New York subway where they have a poster of him saying this is what a rapist looks like, and it's his mugshot. Or I think it's either his mugshot or it's that face. Oh, I think it's the one where he actually looks like a strapping young lad. Yeah, like he's wearing a suit and tie, I think, and I don't think that's his like school ID though, because like. But the point is that it makes him look. It's something that makes him look. It makes him look like he's a nice, likable, like a nice guy. But he is getting his consequences already. It's starting slow, but hopefully it's going to pick up. What is it? The National Swimming Association? Yeah, U.S. The organization. Gosh, I can't remember the name, but they control who goes to the Olympics for swimming. Who even competes nationally? Yeah, exactly. They have banned him from ever joining any sort of swim team. And he hadn't joined them yet, but it was one of those things where everybody assumed that he was going to join. Yeah, and he had options, but now he has nothing. Right. That whole part of his life is just down the drain. Yeah. They already banned him from that. A couple other places banned him from ever swimming there as well, and he will never be able to qualify to go to the Olympics. That's a start, but hopefully he gets what's coming to him. Yeah. Because it's just really fucked up. Wake up the next day. I mean, a lot of people could see that, and that's why there's been repercussions, even for the judge. Because the last thing I read, I was checking the news on MSN, and they were saying that the judge is having trouble getting people to sit in his jury for other trials that have nothing to do with this one. But just because people, of the turnout? As soon as people find out that he's the judge, they just say, I can't do this. And apparently, according to the news story I wrote, he was just saying, I understand, and letting them, off the hook. And then, but everybody has been, recusing themselves, I guess. I think that's what they call it. I mean, they just decide not to do it. They don't want to be part of the jury for that reason. And that's a great reason because, going in, you already know that whatever judgment this judge makes is probably not going to be fair. Yeah. No. I mean, he's already tarnished his reputation in the eyes of most of America, I think. Yeah, now he's going down the drain following Brock Turner. Yeah. which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, bad stuff doesn't happen there. Doesn't stop.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of crap going around.
Yeah, like just last night, or when this goes up, which is 2 nights ago.
Right.
Since whoever's listening will be listening to this on Monday. Right. And this happened at 2 a.m. 50 dead in a nightclub shooting. Yeah. And then 53 others injured, and most of them in critical condition in the hospital. Right. All in Orlando, Florida. And it's going down as the worst mass shooting in American history.
Yeah, that's saying something. I mean, because I thought we already had one of those. I guess this is the new record. This is there's a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of people saying how they can't feel safe anywhere, like not at a nightclub, not at a park, not at a school, not at a cinema. And for me, it's like I go to the cinema all the time. Yeah. I go to the park all the time. I go to the. Do we say where we live? I mean, as far as the city.
City we can.
Yeah.
Because we literally go...
Yeah, we live in Aurora, people. Aurora, Colorado.
We go to that one theater that got shot up.
A lot of people just call it the Death Theater.
Yeah, like my sister, she's 6 years old. Yeah. She knows it by that. Yeah. She doesn't want to go in there to watch movies because of that one reason. Yeah. And when it happened, she wasn't really conscious of what she was doing. So... for her to know that's happening.
I didn't tell my kid. We've gone to see movies there, and like it's actually they spruced up the theater, and I think you said it's cheaper to go there now than other theaters because they know that people are staying away for that reason. But
tickets are cheaper, food's still expensive.
But anyway, the point is that we live in a country where I think a lot of cities already have, it's that place where that thing happened.
Yeah.
This is ours, and now Orlando's going to have theirs, that nightclub shooting.
Yeah. But I mean, man, that was just like a terrible thing that happened. What was his name? The guy that...
Omar Mateen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was identified as the shooter. Right?
Yeah.
And it was just him that did it. He didn't have a team or anything. So according to CBS, was it CBS? It was
CBS News, yeah.
Yeah, they got intel that this guy, what was his name? Omar
Mateen.
Mateen. Showed up as the club was closing. And he had an automatic rifle.
An AR-15 assault rifle.
Yeah, and a sidearm.
Yeah, so in some other device.
And a device that wasn't really named.
Yeah, they didn't say what it was, but the point is that he went in there with all this gear and just started shooting.
If people hit the deck and, people try to get out of the way.
Yeah.
And it pretty much is looking like it's a hate crime because, the nightclub is Pulse nightclub, and it's known as a gay nightclub.
Yeah, it's a gay nightclub.
And when they interviewed Omar's father, he was the one that said
he hated gays. My son hated gays, basically.
He had homophobia, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, a lot of profilers are saying that it was probably a hate crime, even though he might have had connections to ISIS and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's really fucked up how things like that happen.
Yeah, no, it gets a little you're right. I mean, it does get a little muddled because what's weird is that the shooter's dad said that his son hated gays and that also he didn't believe that there was any religious motivation. It was just the fact that he hated gays.
Yeah.
But they're also saying that he did follow a more a fundamentalist version of Islam too. Mm-hmm. So it does get muddled there. It's like I know that the FBI is investigating, and there's like the anti-terrorism task force in Orlando is also pitching in, and it's like
the FBI is the lead investigator on
that. Right. They're the lead investigator, but the point is that they're there because they believe that there is potential for this to be a terrorist attack, and some people were even saying, and none of this has been confirmed yet, as far as I know, but they were saying that ISIS was posting stuff on the internet. Either praising this guy or thanking him or claiming him as one of their own.
Yeah.
So, but again, none of that has been confirmed. We don't know if that's the case. But the dad doesn't think religion or ISIS has anything to do with it. It's just because his son was homophobic.
I think that comes more from like religion, though.
And of course, definitely. I mean, there's certainly, a lot of religions, have prejudice against gays, but it's still one thing to have, teachings, I guess, that say that, homosexuality is bad, to like a religion that actively encourages going out and killing them.
Yeah.
And that's why this is a prickly thing. That's why it's just hard to tell what it is, because, it definitely looks like ISIS could have inspired this guy, or could have sent him orders to do something like this. But it's also just as plausible that
he worked alone and he was inspired by this.
Exactly. Or was inspired but never communicated with them.
Yeah. I think it should be mentioned that this guy was killed.
The SWAT team killed him. He had basically, it looks like there was, like nearly 200 or 100 and some odd people in the club at the time.
Yeah.
And he killed 50 of them. Another 50 have already been taken to hospitals, and he had like 30 of them
hostage
as a hostage. And that's when the SWAT team went in with a flashbang grenade and mowed him down, as far as I understand.
Yeah, he
shot him. And
before that, though, they were saying how he left the club. And
he shot the club, like an off-duty police officer or something.
They weren't off-duty, I think. The cops
were
just
already
a cop
outside, that was out there. Yeah,
and they were They were having a
plainclothes. Maybe it was a plain, but they said it was either off-duty or plainclothes police officer. Mm-hmm. But either way, they were there somehow.
One of the officers was injured.
Yeah,
and then he went back into the club, and there were still 30 people.
Right after he shot this cop.
Mm-hmm. And so he took those 30 people hostage, and SWAT team eventually decided that it was time to, stop him. Uh-huh. So they went in with flashbangs and took him down. But there's still a lot of stuff happening. The hospitals are asking for blood donations. A lot of these people are in critical conditions, and the death toll isn't set at 50. There's doctors that are saying that it's probably going to
rise because a lot of the people that they're operating on, are not going to make it.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of parents that don't know where their kids are.
Yeah, like in the news report that we saw earlier, there was this mom just saying how, she knows that her son's boyfriend got killed for a fact, and she's been texting her son,
and he won't answer.
So, I mean, it's just a horrible position to be in, to just be waiting for that call.
The fear that she must have, dude, is just like, it's gotta be unbearable. Because she knows that the boyfriend got taken to the hospital, but she doesn't know.
That he just got shot, not killed. She doesn't know if he got killed, just got taken to the hospital.
All she knows is that he's in critical condition, but she doesn't know anything about her son because he's not answering.
Right.
And which could just as easily mean that he's also in critical condition, or that he is, safe, but just taking care of his boyfriend, which we all hope is the case, that nothing bad comes of, any more bad comes of this, and that they can save those other people that are in the hospital. But right now it's looking like a pretty slim chance that they will.
But I don't know how far this guy lived from there, but he wasn't from Orlando. He was from Port St. Lucie, I think.
I think so.
Or Port Richey. So they mentioned both of those cities.
Yeah, they said that he was more than a couple hours out from
Right. I think that's further south. I want to say
they said north, though.
Oh, it's north. Okay, then I'm not sure. Yeah, no, I don't know.
But either way, this guy went pretty far from his home to find this one specific club. Because I feel like he probably planned it like that, because I don't think anyone that wants to do this out of just spur of the moment would just drive out for hours and then eventually land on a place.
Right. Well, I mean, Orlando's a bigger city, and he probably knew that this would make a bigger splash there, and that the gay clubs were just bigger, had more people. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing that's what he was thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is just insane. I mean, it just seems like it's the new normal. That's what everybody is saying. But yeah, I think a lot of us that in and of itself is not news. I mean, of course, it kind of is the new normal. That's what we were saying earlier. Every city has, there's that place where all those people were killed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like in any case, even in a case as grim as this, and I'm probably just one of the few that thinks like this. It's I feel like we should look for a silver lining, even though it's incredibly difficult to find one in a case like this. But for me, I feel like one of the initial silver linings is the fact that the hospital was really close.
Yeah.
So people, didn't die on the way to the hospital since they were like 2 blocks away.
Right, yeah, they were saying that it was just 2 blocks away, so people, I mean, they were just throwing people on the back of some trucks. I saw on some...
First, it was the people that were at the club. They were helping each other get to the hospital.
Right.
But then eventually, when the cops showed up, they started putting people in the trucks and in their squad cars and just driving them off to the hospital. But I mean, even though it's not that big of a good thing or a silver lining, it is a start. It's something that we have to be thankful for, that the hospital was there.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's.
It would be better if the thing didn't happen in the first place. But we don't have control over all the loonies. No, man, this is just it's kind of a downer. It's definitely a downer to see this kind of stuff in the news. But yeah, it's the world we live in, and I guess we just all have to keep our eyes peeled for, people that look like they might be planning this stuff. Because that's another thing that they were saying. You said that, and I just remember what I was going to say. Main thing, people shouldn't try to when you think of danger, don't associate a group of people with it. You know, this guy may have been from Middle Eastern background. Yeah, but
his parents were Afghan.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that everyone.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm not saying not saying let's all be suspicious of all our Muslim friends and neighbors and what have you. No, I mean it's just Well, take for instance that church shooting in South Carolina last year. Yeah. That was just a white supremacist. Yeah. I'm just saying in general, if there's a person that seems like he's off or like he might be planning something like this.
Yeah, just watch out.
Say something,
Tell the cops, it's not going to kill anybody if you feel like somebody's in danger. Yeah. Say something. You'll probably be saving lives, whether you think about it or not. You could potentially stop somebody from doing something like that. Yeah. But if the world's going to shit, let's not let it drag us down with it. Let's keep our humanity. Let's not be a bunch of Donalds. Right. But this is something that you don't really foresee. You don't really think about too often. No, unless only until it happens. But yeah, I mean, you got to keep on going, and that's why. I mean, our hearts, of course, go out to the parents of the friends and family.
Friends and family of everybody who lost somebody there, and the victims, the people that got shot, that are fighting for their lives, and I mean, that's all you can really hope for right now. That all the people that can make it. Yeah, and if people can, donate some blood. It's not going to kill you. They need people to donate blood right now in Orlando. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even if you don't live in Orlando, just donate some blood.
Oh yeah, just in general, donating blood is a good thing. So definitely,
if you can, because some people can't, and but if you can, it's not going to take much. You just got to sit there and let them do the work, and then afterwards you get
a cookie or a slice of pizza.
Yeah, they give you stuff for your stuff. It's not going to kill you. It's in fact going to be going to save somebody who could desperately need that help. Yeah. But anyway, we've reached our time limit just about. It, yeah.
Hate to go out on. Well, again, just keep an eye out if you think that there's somebody around you that might be planning something like this. But otherwise, I mean, keep on living your life. Keep on doing what you love. Yeah. Keep on playing video games or creating music or being creative in general, or just do what you love. Don't let this kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. That's which is not the same as do yourself, which that almost sounded like.
No, you do you.
But in all seriousness, I mean, we gotta keep on living.
Yeah. Just because something bad happens in the world that doesn't take away from the good things that happen. Yeah. And just as the good things don't get any less good because of the bad. Right. But
they become more important, in fact.
Yeah. Just know that you're never really alone out there. You've always got friends and family you can count on. So never lose hope, because you could be the hope for somebody else, whether you think about that or not.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway,
that's it for today.
Yeah. So last thing, I guess, just stay safe, you guys. And my name's Abe.
My name's Ralph.
And we will see you guys in the next one.
Laters.